Oh, you fucker. Yes, you little bugger. It has a habit of doing that when you first knock it off choke. The engine has literally only been running 1 minute. Right, I thought I'd bring you along for a commute on the Aprilia. I have gone to work on it once before, but it rode okay, it rides lovely. But the actual event didn't go rather well, as in the middle of Hinckley, outside Tesco by the train station, I could smell petrol, quite a lot of it. And when I looked at my feet, I had a small puddle, about an egg cup full. And I thought, oh shit, that's me. And yes, sure enough, we suspect one of the float bowl needles has stuck open. Anyway, we mackled a repair. Hitting the float bowl didn't work. Usually it does, usually it'll reseat, but it didn't work. Anyway, we mackled a repair, and even though these carburetors, there is evidence of them having a rebuild kit. There was like Vuitton rings in it and stuff like that, and stuff looked new and shiny. This is no guarantee of how old it is. This bike was off the road 10 years. So yes, I'm doing the right thing, and we're replacing the fuel line, putting in a new fuel filter, because currently it doesn't run one. And then we have a carburetor rebuild kit coming for the carburetors. So yeah, that would do it, and I've got getting the carbs off down to a fine art now, splitting the subframe and what have you. It's not difficult on this bike. And I've also got some parts coming for the ZZR, a new fuel filter, and I've bought some inlet to cylinder head O-rings because I suspect the bike has an air leak, and it's sort of good practice if you've had the carbs off to check those O-rings anyway, because they flatten no end. Oh, look at all this lovely mud across the road. Oh, it stinks of poo. Well, that was slippy. I live in the country. Farmers have a job to do. I do not moan about mud on the roads, because usually they go out and sweep it, but you know, let them get the job done first. It's just one of the things to watch out for if you are going down a country road, is farm machinery and the effects thereof. There we go. Lovely. I think the little clutchy might need a little adjustment. It's the gearbox was really slick yesterday. Uncle Barnyard went out on the scooter. I got him legal on Phyllis, but I didn't film it because I didn't. I thought we'll just have a little lad's ride out, and we won't put any undue pressure on him by filming him and then all taking the piss. He hasn't ridden a bike for quite a while. In fact, the last time we rode Phyllis, we were at Mallory Park, Huggy's car park, and he had a ride round there, and he did all right. But it's not the same as being on the open road in top gear and just getting a feel for the bike. You don't get a feel for a bike in a car park. You do at low speed, but it's nothing to road speeds, and he did all right. You know, he's doing 50-55, so yeah, it's all right. So the next ride out, I will film it. He's a bit more confident now. We did about 30 miles. He was way more confident on the way back. A little pep talk, just telling him where he's going wrong with the machine, not his riding. His riding's okay. Doing his lifesavers. A little pep talk about his riding position. He's in the gutter, and you should be where I am, really. Command your lane. Basically sit where you would if you were sat in a car. You own this lane, you've paid the tax for it. Also position yourself for maximum visibility around corners. So on a left you would be across to the right, and on a right hander you would be over to the left. Cookies. Nice. Right, a few words about the Aprilia. Oh bloody hell, the trip meter started working again. It didn't work yesterday, and it really annoyed me, because there's one thing that trips my OCD, pun intended. is not being able to reset a trip meter or not having a trip meter. Now, Phyllis doesn't have a trip meter and it drives me mad. It does have a fuel gauge, but it's about as accurate as a politician. So anyway, the Aprilia, first big single I've owned, and I'm still getting used to the gear ratios. There is nothing wrong with the power of the machine. If I had to guess horsepower, I wouldn't be able to, basically, just having a quick look. I wouldn't be able to. It goes really well. Like I say, it's twin carb, 5 valve head, 3 inlet, 2 exhaust. And it's a few horsepowers more than the BMW. When BMW did their thing to this engine, they lost some horsepowers because they went back to 4 valve, etc, etc. There's a few differences. The earlier bikes, the earlier Pegasos and the BMW F650s are way closer matched, and then as the models aged, they separated by quite a bit. There's quite a few differences on a BMW. Although interestingly, if you do need spare parts, it's quite often easier to look up a BMW F650 because they sold way more of those in Britain, way more. So yes, it is what it is. Right, we need to go down a gear. I have noticed with this, I'm often down a gear than I would be on an inline 4, for example. She likes the revs. She only revs to 7, but she likes all of them. And she's happiest about the 4,000. Anything below about 4,000, she starts to get a little bit cement mixery. Now we're going to start looking at dropping a gear again now. Yes, oh well, he's made the decision for me. Look, I think that's third. It's either third or second. I'm not really counting. This is only a 5-speed, and the gearbox is getting a little bit better now. Everything's warming up. It's not very warm. It's only about 6 degrees at the minute, but the handguards make the little pinkies better, and I've got heated gloves for later when I come home, because when I come home it's only supposed to be about 3 degrees. Right, I'm going the back roadway because basically I've got an hour to get to work. Oh, we're going. So a nice steady ride down the back roads past Kirby Mallory, you know, that way, because it's a nice ride. You don't really get any traffic, or if you do, it's literally the odd car, or you know, the odd milk tanker or something like that, but that's it. So it's just nice to get a flow on, because sometimes on that A5 it seems to be really odd, the timing of it, because there can just be a 10-minute difference between commutes and you're queuing all the way down the A5 basically. Sit up and beg bikes, I'm in the wrong gear, I'm in 2i gear, it's going to chug. Oh no, it was alright, it was okay. That was okay. Like I say, it's all learning the ratios and what have you. Funny enough, in top gear, she will sit at 60 to 70 really nicely. I mean, really nicely. You could quite easily tour on this. Everything's coming around. Like I say, it's been stood 10 years and it's probably only done 50 miles since then, so everything's going to come around. It's a bit like having a classic car, you know, everything's got to come around. Like the front brake's starting to improve. It passed the brake roller test, you know, it's good enough for an MOT, but what I might do is end up putting sintered pads on it, something like that, and a braided hose. The wire wheel stuck behind the van. Here we go. I do believe that's a VFR. And it's slow around the corners. And he's going up to Huggies. Give him a little pip. God, he was slow. See, any fucker can go fast in a straight line, but it's the corners where you have your fun and you get a feel for the bike. You can't get a feel for a bike just going up a straight street like this. All you get the feel for is how well it goes. And we know VFRs go well. You stop there, you fuck. But yeah, through the corners, I mean, this handles, it's so much more nimble than the ZX-10. The ZX-10 was like trying to coax a beached whale back into water. When you got a flow for it, it was really good, but it was a bit like an oil tanker. You had to really prejudge a corner and then you know, plan your corners, where this one you literally just punt it in, open it up. Could have done with dropping a gear then, but it still did it. But yeah, it's not a slow bike. A to B, it's just not a slow bike. And it's really chuckable compared to the ZX-10. I've also we put the top box on it, and it doesn't seem to affect this like it does the ZX-10. The ZX-10, anything above about 70 with a top box on my grandmother's private test track, it used to, let's say, influence the rear end a bit. But yeah, it's a good little back lane scratcher, this. Really is good, and it should be good on fuel. Get on your side of the road then, dingus. Should be good on fuel. But yeah, it's a great commuter. I mean, it's very comfortable, very comfortable. I've got really good visibility. So yeah, I mean, I expect teething troubles with it, because like I say, it's been sat a long time. Any of you turning and not bothering to indicate? No? That's the favourite at this junction. Here we go then. We're going after this white Mercedes. Cool. Oh, someone has very thoughtfully put an auxiliary light on the dashboard. You probably noticed it there, flashing with the turnification signals. And I suspect somebody had a phone mount or something there, and it blocked the idiot lights. I think if this turns out to be a keeper, I think one thing I will do is put a flip screen on it. Could have gone down another gear then. Is put a flip screen on it just to give me a tad more protection. You get again, this is not a double entendre. I'm getting a lot of buffeting around my helmet, but it's not unacceptable. But on a long, say, A road or motorway journey, it might just become a little bit tiresome. But no, it's alright actually. Even with, I've not took anyone pilly on it yet. We've literally just had a go around the garden with Uncle Barnyard on the back, because he's quite long in the leg. So if I've got plenty of room with him on, I should be okay with anybody else really. I'm due to go out on a Sunday, but the forecast so far for Sunday is not looking fantastic. Go down another gear. I think we're in third. But yes, so far quite happy with it. Right, you're going to make your mind up. What are you doing then? I do like coming the country way, but it does take a little bit longer. Well, actually time wise it actually doesn't, because you don't stop moving. Right.
Hello. As you can see there, the camera just cut off. Sometimes when you're using the microphone on the other GoPro, if you say the word stop in a conversation or anything like that, sometimes it switches off. Other times it switches off with the cold. It doesn't like heat. These GoPros are really odd. They don't like heat, they don't like cold. They're like electric cars really. Don't like heat, don't like cold, and when I'm riding along, there's no way of me telling whether it's on or not. I suppose I could. I don't know whether there's a light on the back of the camera that you can see to show you it's on. There probably is. But anyway, I thought I'd better do a proper outro now, because being professional and everything. Anyway, really enjoyed my commute, and I did have some footage of the ride back at night as well, but you can't really see anything other than the clocks. On the subject of clocks, I can see the rev counter really well, the coolant temperature really well, idiot lights really well at night, but the speedo is a little bit dull. I reckon probably one of the bulbs in it isn't working. But I do, up on that shelf there, that blue, white and red, should be red, white and blue, box is all capless bulbs. So at some point I've got some work to do on the Aprilia. I've bought rebuild kits with new needles and seats and air jets, gasquets, and there's 2 of those. And also we got, oh shit, that's not going to work, is it? Also got new fuel line and filters, because I'm not running a filter on the Aprilia, and it could do with one. I don't like not running filters, so I shall fit. It needs a new fuel line anyway, because I think somebody's chopped a little bit the end off the original, because it's a right bugger to get on the fuel tap. I mean, it's completely impossible to reach the bottom of the carbs when the carbs are fitted, because there's just no room, unless you've got a small child handy with very small hands, or a Thai bride, makes your willy look bigger. You ain't going to do it. But I've got to take the carbs off anyway to fit the kit, because I had a sticky needle valve the other day and twatting the float bowl didn't cure it. So yeah, get a new kit in it. So I shall do that and give myself a little bit more wiggle room on the fuel line, put a filter in it and do the filter. I'm going to put on the ZZR, because that does need changing. It is dirty, and I've gone on to the forums and stuff about poor running, poor starting, and they do say that you might think you're getting enough flow through the filter, because it flows okay through it, but it is restricted slightly, which makes sense obviously. But I've got to get the ZZR carbs off, because we've got a coolant leak. I think it's the coolant pipes that go to the carburettor. But I've got, not here, new O-rings to go on the intake boots. So I'm going to take the intake boots off, and it will give me a chance to have a look at the airbox and all that lot properly. All the plumbing for the airbox is actually there. It's there. The only thing we're missing on it is the grills on the outside of the fairing, but I can live without them for a minute. So yeah, we'll sort all that out. I'm tempted to put new HT leads on, like, because the boots on the ZZR, when you really have to, I mean, they're the original boots, you really have to push them down to get that click onto the spark plug, and I don't like it, because it's quite a hard push, and they should just literally just slip on and click. But 2 of the boots, the breather valves in the crankcase cover actually obstruct them. The boot literally sits right up against it, and it sort of angles the boot a little bit, and they're the tough ones. That's cylinders 1 and 4. So I'm thinking of splurging out and getting some Taylor leads with just straight boots that just go like that, and just put new HT leads on it, because I think the coils off the old ZX10 are okay, and I think the coils of the ZZR are okay. Both the same ohms. So I don't know, we're going down that road because it's running like a bag of shit at the minute, but to me it sounds like an air leak, because it's hunting. It's going up, going down, going up, going down, and that suggests there's an air leak. It can't get the mixture right. So I've got that to do, but I'm in no rush to do that. I do need to tidy my desk a little bit, because there's all sorts of detritus and shite on here. I've got to clean these little caps up to go on the brake calipers for Uncle Steve's bike. In theory, Uncle Steve's bike, if I just bung some a can of petroleum distillate in it, It should be able to run off its own fuel supply, and chassis wise it can be taken up the road for a test on grandmother's private test track. Ideally it needs to come and see it and discuss what we're going to do with the bodywork. I'm not happy with part of the rear bodywork. I think it could be improved with the addition of a bracket and then a bolt passing through the bracket to hold the two side panels on at the back, because there's a grommet missing. I might have a grommet about somewhere, but the backs of the side panels is literally only held on by a grommet, and it's only fixed in the middle. So that would be a suggestion. He knows very, very good bodywork people, and his fairing cowling's got to be repaired, and that's pretty much it. Apart from dropping the oil on it, that's pretty much it. Spark plugs are fine, the spark plugs are all new. And I've got the filter for it. Oh, there's the VFR filter next to the funky speaker, which was from Uncle Steve. So we've got the filter, we've got the oil. So it's got coolant in it and all this lot. But so yeah, so that's nearly done. You can sort the tyres out and what have you, and then that one will be done and out of the way, ready for him to use. So yes, so we are busy. So yes, I just thought I'd do a proper ending, and as usual I've waffled on for far too long, 7 minutes in fact. Jim, go and have your coffee. Alright then, I'm going to have my coffee. Have a good day, people.